Great morning again. You're on mute.
We have Dr. Sharice in studio.
Okay, great.
So she's going to be the one that gives us access to she's going to be the one that gives us access to the radio.
Okay.
And so we'll channel through that. I'm trying to get my Facebook up as well. Let me see if that's on.
For motivation, it's 107.9 FM, the station for the nation.
I may have the chapel in it as well.
Is this just audio or video and audio for your recording?
Yeah, video for the social media side.
Oh, got it. Is there a way you can send me the links and other things to be able to share as well?
Yeah, I will. Let me just make sure I'm up and running now. Doc, give me a minute, please. Let me make sure. So we'll channel through that. I'm trying to. I'll send the link by your WhatsApp.
Okay. Is it it's recorded, right?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Okay. Is it it's recorded, right?
Yeah, it's recorded.
Okay. About hard out at 9:55 to prepare to go for the jail, into the jail. I can't hear you.
Our wrap-up time is as well.
Oh, great. Okay.
Good morning, Dr. Sharice.
Beautiful morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. So we're done with morning break and we're going into the Zoom room now. We welcome Morning Grace. All this good morning stuff. Y'all should be on top of the world. Great morning, great morning. It's a super day. Wow, we're breathing in fresh air. And of course, we still say God lives here. Take it away, Ambassador Glen. How you doing this morning?
I don't know why you want to. Why do you want to provoke our guests? It's like, what do you do? What are you trying to do? You're trying to tease our guests this morning.
Not a bad idea. Something to think about.
Doing a good.
Pastor Tim, how do you respond to that?
She's doing a good job. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished indeed, right? So I'm trying to get this thing up here, make sure I'm up and ready to go. Tim, you want to say where you are?
In New York City.
All right.
Visiting Rikers Island this week. I live in Orlando, but I come to New York once a month for an entire week to work in the jails. So this is my week for June.
When I heard Rikers Island, that's the very same place my mind went. Rikers Island? Wow.
Yeah.
You must be special and chosen to go to Rikers Island. He know light stuff down there.
What you say is true. It's not light work. But if he calls you, he will do it.
Wow.
So he called me, and I'm I'm privileged to have a front row seat to see what he's doing.
Amen.
And we're going to share some of that this morning as well, Doc. So that's why I said you were really teasing Pastor Tim, because I mean to say to him that God lives there in the Bahamas and the nice breeze, and to see him have to go and pack his bag to go to an island that he'll get to describe in a little while. So I'll tell you what, Pastor Tim, once you're done over there, and you need a place to unwind, this would be a good place to come.
Okay. All right. Make sure you answer my call.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, good morning, everybody. We do have Bishop Sanford Rolle in the house as well. Hopefully someone from the chaplain would come in. Pastor Tim, these are persons who are equally interested in not only hearing your story, but hearing the pathway to ministry within the context of corrections and other stuff. So we're happy that you have consented. Good morning, everybody. Bishop Rolle, are you there?
Good morning, Pastor Glen. Good morning,
Pastor
other
Tim
members.
Johnson.
Pastor Tim Johnson, Minister Sharice, good morning.
Good morning. Glad to hear you. How y'all doing?
Great morning.
Wonderful. We're in good shape.
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bishop Rolle, for sharing it. I'm sure at some point before the conversation is over, you get an opportunity to hear and also give a little chat to Pastor Tim. Pastor, let me say how grateful we are. It was only a short while ago that a number of us had an opportunity to be at a correction and chaplain ministry in Orlando. And we were the beneficiary of your ministry as a part of what was presented. And I think I can say without contradiction that we were amazed, we were moved, we were touched, and to have you not only take photos and sign book, but also talk about you wanted to come to the Bahamas and to be a part of the Bahamas ministry, because from a point of ministry, you are indeed outreach. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, your ministry, and let's have some further conversation here on Inspiration 107.9 FM.
Well, first of all, Pastor, thank you for the opportunity to be with y'all this morning, albeit through Zoom. I don't quite feel like I'm in the Bahamas, but it's nice hearing the tones of the Bahamas. Your voice. I'm from Sarasota, Florida, born and raised there all of my life, and found my community and my place of belonging, air quotes with belonging, because it was temporary, in sports. And so started playing football when I was 10 years old, went through high school, ended up being an All-American, and recruited by most colleges in the United States. I could have gone anywhere on a scholarship, and chose Penn State because I did not know who I was. And I thought if I was ever going to find out, it would have to be away from home, from all the things that seemed to be crutches. I needed to know at that young age if I could make it in life in a place. And if I didn't make it, my backup plan was I was young enough to recover. And so that was an expectation that was exceeded because it was more difficult than I thought. But it was the place where I didn't find Jesus, he found me.
Wow.
Because I wasn't looking for him. I was living my life with me as the one that I trusted, and the way I felt, and the way I did things, my own plans. And so Jesus allowed the benefit of the cross to touch my life. The Father saw me as a young man who, in 1965, on his birth certificate, the place where it says Father was empty. He saw the hole in my soul. And there was no answer for me, because all the things that I looked for answers in, whether it was my lifestyle, success on the field, the loneliness that I tried to hide, the wearing a mask so long that it stuck to my face. I mean, all these things just didn't work. And hole never got filled until that day where overcoming my fear that Jesus, I don't know how to live for you. I never lived right in my life. I never saw anybody live right. And trying to figure out how to do that before I come to faith was a big barrier until the faith that rescued me was not me making myself right.
Wow.
It's, do I have enough humility, trust that what Jesus did on the cross and in his resurrection was enough to make me right? Very humbling when you've been used to doing everything yourself, especially as a spiritual orphan.
Yeah. You know, Pastor Tim, you talk about two areas, your we call it the government names. There was an absence in your space, and one of the things that move you in that regard, and why I am equally caught off guard, because going through even some of your own journey, one would think that's an ideal life. I mean, no, you know, who gets the chance to be Super Bowl champs? Who get a chance to have all of the things going? And it's almost a contradiction, because the things that they are the actual things that we seem to want to pursue. And you seem to be saying, even pursuing those things, there was still a hole, there was still an emptiness. Was it the no father name component of it, or what was it in your view?
Well, I didn't know that was it. I just thought I needed more of what I had. That would do it. More success, more accomplishment, more sin. I just thought I wasn't doing enough. So I chased after, like Solomon said, the wind. You can't catch the wind. But also in the book of Ecclesiastes, it says God has set eternity in the heart of man. It was a setup from the beginning.
Wow.
He put eternal longing in us that only someone from eternity can satisfy. So the earthly father, hole in my soul, he was supposed to be an introduction to that. But because he was absent, the enemy stole him away and stole away my sense of belonging at all. And so I just fit in where I could get in and operated accordingly. And so the idea of trying to self-medicate and heal myself was all the answer that I had. And the answer that I was looking for was looking for me, and he found me.
When did you realize that football wouldn't complete it? Because again, people see these things and they say, you know, no one wants to make the transition from a superstar to preaching on the pulpit. I mean, you know, those are contradictions. When did you realize the greater call, the greater sense of purpose?
Well, when I got born again, it was my sophomore year at Penn State, and just still on this journey of not knowing whether I was going to play pro football or anything. It was recognizing the brokenness and the emptiness, the longing in my soul was now satisfied by someone I had never really understood. Jesus did that. He forgave me of my sins and he gave me a new life. Ever since that day, I told him whatever. I didn't know I could be living a new life. I didn't know I could be forgiven. So I owe you. And I'm being I'm using a little hyperbole. We can never. But I felt such gratitude, is a better way to say it, that I said, whatever you want me to do, my answer is yes first.
Wow.
Knowing anything else, whatever you say. And so from that time forward, I ended up playing 10 years in the NFL, drafted by the Steelers, we won a national championship in college and then won a Super Bowl with the Redskins and with the Cincinnati Bengals. Along the way, he has put my yes to the test. And he has spoken to me things that I personally believe he would never have spoken to me if I didn't give him my yes first.
Wow.
People don't know what belongs to them a lot of times. They've settled for just what they want. And I didn't want anything like in particular after that, because I didn't know all of what he had available to me. So my job was to be grateful for everything he gave me and be free enough for him to show me what belongs to me, but that I belong to him.
Was a part of the Yes Orlando World Outreach Church? Was that a part of the Yes? And what does that look like? What does that entail?
Yes, it is. I was in Nashville pastoring at a beautiful church, multicultural, multi-ethnic. It was in Brentwood, Tennessee, which is a suburban part of Nashville. And it was a spectacle of grace. It was a wonder, that church. Thousands of people from all kinds of backgrounds, and across generations. And so we saw a real move of the Spirit. And we were on our way to rebuilding our sanctuary and then extending the congregation to Franklin, just about, it's a town over. So there was a lot going on, raising millions of dollars. And I was in Orlando, Florida, like I had been for many, many years, vacationing.
Mm-hmm.
And on vacation, I was driving to play golf. And all of a sudden, I get a visitation. I'm
Wow.
in this car driving in tears,
Mm,
being moved and spoken to about planting a church. Not my idea.
mm.
Bad timing. We're in the middle of a multi-million dollar campaign, capital campaign. I'm right in the middle of it. And do what? So because he had my yes, I obviously yes, but I had no idea how it was going to work. And through the course of time, it took 18 months to transition out of that because I was so embedded in the
Wow.
congregation.
Wow.
And there was not full agreement on the idea because of the circumstance that we were in, with the weight of raising the money and all these things. And I just kept submitting and surrendering, submitted to my leaders. And if they told me no, then I would just submit to that because they're my authority.
Yeah.
But everyone who didn't necessarily see it or feel it came right to the threshold of a no, but they never said no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's how I knew, okay, this must be you, Father,
Yes, sir.
because it's disturbing, it's disruptive, but no one has a witness to say, no, this is not what the Holy Spirit is saying. And so I had to transition and begin this work called Orlando World Outreach Church. And he has confirmed it again and again. And everyone who was, it was relationally a challenge because of the proximity. I was no longer going to be there. And I love the people and the people love me.
Yeah.
But we all now see the witness that it was him.
So when you talk about, most churches, well, they may have what they consider to be their brand, what they want to do. I don't want to use that term loosely, but what did you envision from a ministry point of view that you wanted to be represented by way of Orlando World Outreach Church?
Um, when all of this began to unfold, I didn't have a vision, mission, values, anything. And as I prayed and trusted that the Holy Spirit can speak what is in the Father's heart, he gave me a picture of the end in mind.
Mm,
So I had a sense of start this with the end in mind,
mhm.
not what's in my mind.
I got you. Mhm.
And Revelation 7, 9 through 11 became the end in mind. This
Wow.
consummation of all things. He said, and this every nation, tribe, and tongue surrounding the throne with the Lamb in the middle of the throne being worshipped and celebrated. That's where it was as if he was saying, this is where the church is going.
Mhm.
And then he showed me, okay, so this is the ultimate vision. So our vision statement became a community of disciples, discipling communities for Christ. You're not wearing that white robe and palm branches in your hand without
Mhm.
confessing Jesus is the Lamb who sits on the throne.
Oh,
So that's your statement of salvation, but also walking in discipleship to follow that Lamb to that place. And then the how became Matthew 28, the mission, to go make disciples.
mhm.
And and he said, "Go." And the question is, where do you go? Wherever you go there, and make disciples, teaching them how to obey me, baptizing them. And so the mission became reaching. So go is it reaching.
We'll get a chance to talk about some of those goals, you know, in terms of, as a matter of fact, where you are now in New York, we'll get a chance to talk about it. But just permit me to get into what you presented during the conference in Orlando. The fact that I think this is a statement that you use where the fathers are in crisis, then the next generation pays a price. Uh, 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 what is it you're trying to convey? Is that the present description of where we are and the challenges that we're seeing in the communities and perhaps from a ministry, whether it be in prison and other stuff? Is there a singular thing that points to that? And in singular meaning, is it the absence of fatherhood?
I would say so, because it's hard to not see the conflicts in the world. We have political polarization. We have a war in Ukraine. We have a war in Gaza. We have a war in Iran. We have economic uncertainty. We have poverty. You look at every single social indicator in the Bahama Islands,
Mhm.
States, Japan, everywhere, from teen pregnancy to incarceration to poverty to domestic abuse. All these social indicators that has depleted the social capital of communities and nations have one root:
Mhm.
fatherlessness.
Wow.
One root. So it's a crisis, not just in Western society, it's a social pandemic all over the world.
Mm.
And so often we're trying to change the fruit, putting money in housing and jobs and education. We need to do that. Yes, please do.
Mhm.
But there's no way to change the fruit if you don't deal with the root.
Wow. Wow.
And not only is it the root of where we are in our world today, it is the root of hell itself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's the diabolical plan to steal away fathers, not just in physical absence, but emotional absence, relational disconnection, financial absence. Feels even worse when there's a figure there, but no presence there.
Mhm.
That drives people into conflict on the inside of them.
Mhm.
And if you don't deal with it in the next generation, and you don't deal with it in those days of understanding the pain that is in your life and the brokenness in your life came from somewhere, and there's an answer.
Mhm.
We just become an adult version of being an orphan child.
Mhm.
So men walk around with this conflict, this disagreement, this trouble in their hearts, and they look good. Some of them are incarcerated. They live behind bars, you can see, but many of them live on Wall Street.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Many
sir.
live in the king's palaces and places of power. They walk through the corridors of power in churches, leadership, walking around, not realizing that there's a hole in their soul they're trying to fill with their title, possessions, power,
Mhm.
influence, and everything else that can only be filled with the Son who came to show us that we have a Father, and that we're not problems to be solved. We're persons to be loved. So that trouble, if I don't deal with it, it will follow me right into adulthood, right to the grave.
You know, one of the things, as we indicated, that was so moving about it, someone listening to you, Pastor Johnson, they may want to say, hey, I can identify with that. Yes, my father was there in terms of being physical, but I still have this sense of loss, this sense of emptiness. One is it a burden to you? And from your vantage point, is there a way out? Is there a path to become whole?
I'll say it like this, Pastor. If there wasn't, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Because even though on January 29th, 1965, when I came into this world with no name on my birth certificate in the place where it says Father, and I know what it's like to walking around feeling like a mistake and a problem I need to solve. I am my own problem. I need to solve. I need to fix me. I need to figure out who I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to make myself something. All these ideas and cultural paradigms that shift and change based on what you have and where you are and what age you are. None of those things answered my brokenness, my loneliness, my anger. It was when the Son, Jesus himself, said in John 14:18, no, I will not leave you as orphans. I will come to you. Yes, we can say you, the world. God so loved the world. Great. But he came to me. He came to me, which overwhelms me. That he came with the 8 billion people in the world. He came to me. And when he came to me, he allowed me to see not just an answer, the answer to how Lucifer and Adam made us fatherless by separating us from the source of our existence.
Yes, sir.
Our earthly fathers are just a tool used by the enemy when they're not there to actually continue and perpetuate the pain of the hole in our soul. But what was brought to me by the master is to recognize my earthly father was not a period. My earthly father was a comma. Period means this is what defines my whole life. A comma means there's something else.
Yes, sir.
In this case for me, there was someone else. So now, if you saw my birth certificate, it might look empty to you, but I see it and it says Heavenly Father, and it's written in red.
Yes, sir.
Which was the blood of his son to break the curse of fatherlessness over my life. I am whole because Jesus took holes in his body so that I can have the hole in my soul healed.
You know, I'm thinking of the scripture, Pastor Tim. In that day, I will restore the hearts of the fathers to their children, and I know that's an important element. So when we look at the crisis, you seem to be saying not only in terms of a comma, but if we can connect, if we can link, if we could bring back the love of the Father, then the many challenges that they face, and you, like you pointed out, I mean, you are the example of what that really looks like and what that really means. One of the things you brought up, I sort of want to emphasize this, and you could chime in on this for a few minutes. The text to which you spoke from then was somebody dropped Mephibosheth. How do we deal with that element of a generation that feel that somebody who is meant to care for them dropped them?
Well, I think it's a massive responsibility of the church. Massive. Who've been given the good news that Jesus came and said to us, I am the way, not a way. The is a definite article. I am the. Like there's no the way than thee, me. I am the way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father. And many times we reduce that down to the idea of heaven. He didn't say no one goes to heaven. He said no one comes to the Father without me, because what is heaven without the Father?
Yes, sir.
So when you think about being dropped, it's in that scenario with Mephibosheth. David, King David, found Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth wasn't looking for the king, looking for him because of a covenant the king had with his daddy
Yes.
to do him good, to look out for his descendants. So even though Saul and David were at war and righteous in a righteous way, he would have been okay to go and just completely eliminate Mephibosheth. That covenant with his daddy allowed him to go rescue Mephibosheth when Mephibosheth had been living crippled all his life because he was dropped by someone who was a substitute for his father. We're always dropped by substitutes when we're left on our own, fatherless. So the king came to get him. When he came to get him, he gave him the answers to the questions we all have in our mind. To whom do we belong? What to believe and how to behave. He was letting him know he's the son of a king. And Mephibosheth kept seeing himself as a dead dog because we always call ourselves what we've been through, our past pain, trauma, what we didn't get. So in that course of interaction, he was telling him, I'm here to show kindness to you. And Mephibosheth, like, to a dead dog like me? Yes, he had Sheba and his sons affirm Mephibosheth by saying, serve him, give him back his property. Everything belongs to him. It's coming back to him.
Yes, sir.
And then the ultimate was this. Mephibosheth sat and ate at the king's table like his own son.
Yes, sir.
And Mephibosheth had a son named Micah. So for me, this generation needs to know there is an invitation at the king's table.
Sir. Yes, sir.
To let go. Let go. See, whatever people think about themselves, they're right. They're right. And we're getting counseling over stuff that's actually right. You are crippled. You feel like an orphan for a reason, but it's not your fault.
Yes, sir.
You've been dropped and crippled. Once the invitation to the king's table, see, David's lineage produced another king.
Yes, sir.
The king of all kings. And that king doesn't have a covenant with my father. He was not there. He had a covenant with the Father.
Yes, sir.
To give me, an orphan who was dropped and crippled, an invitation to his table. So if the church can be whole enough to understand the Father's love, we become those who learn to sit at the table and then start inviting other people.
Yes, sir.
To the empty chairs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't want to even break into this. We're right on a break because that's where we want the conversation to go. That you, as a part of your prayer, one of the prayers, and maybe this is your way of saying, if you ever ask the Father to show you his heart, you gotta be prepared. You have to be prepared to. Our producer saying we can continue. So let's. How did you tap into? You're in New York. You understand the conflict between the generations. You're seeking God in a way to say, show me your heart, show me what I'm missing. How did you get to minister in the spaces that you're now ministering? What transpired from your end?
What started with that, yes, and being forever grateful for my salvation, as I explained. I'll start this way. Two things converged for me. The reality of a year or so before this 2022 encounter, where I prayed and I asked the Father to show me the secrets of his heart. I was in Africa. And I got to stand in Nelson Mandela's cell. And I had a visitation in that cell. So grateful that I had my hat and my sunglasses on because I was breaking down.
Yes, sir.
A year later, I get the message, sitting in a room in Nashville, praying, Father, show me the secrets of your heart. Because I'm telling him what I want. I don't really have anything that's going to change the human condition. I can encourage you and bless you and give you money, but what is going to change you? So I just felt like, Father, what is in your heart? And I pray that often, and I don't always hear something. He said 2 words, Rikers Island.
Mm.
I'd never been to prison. I'd never been to jail. I visited when I played pro football in the 90s. I did some prison fellowship work, and so been to prisons and a couple of jails.
Mm.
And I'm stunned. I'm in my hotel room. Never said those words out of my mouth. In fact, I thought Rikers was closed and I thought it was a prison. So I stopped and I Googled Rikers Island. I'm reading this article and it's saying that this is one of the worst jails in the world.
Wow. Wow.
I'm wondering, what does this have to do with me?
Mm.
I'm in Nashville. I live in Orlando. Found out it was still open. There's a lot of controversy. So I resumed the silence before the Father under that request, show me the secrets of your heart. He begins to give me a paragraph of what he wanted to do. At that time, I was in year 4 of writing my book, Fatherless No More, which you have.
Yes, sir.
And he, in summary, says, I'm going to move in that dark place in the lives of those that no one has answers. Rikers used to be a dump, and now they dump humanity there.
Yes, sir.
In this place, they call hell on earth. He says, go there. And the second part of my book is called The Pathway to Freedom, where it has the 5 A's, and it's a whole nother subject. But he basically said, go put this into practice right there with the worst of the worst. So long story short, I end up having a series of miraculous meetings. When I tell you miraculous, you don't even have time for me to give you the details.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On the divine design of the sovereign hand of our Father. He worked it out so that June 13th, 2022, me and my dear brother, Art Monk, we were teammates with the Redskins, came with me and we began the journey of a lifetime. I lived on Rikers Island for 5 months.
Wow. Wow.
This has never been done before. I lived in an RV. I spent 10 plus hours in the jail with a group of young men who started playing basketball from opposing gangs, birthed by 2 pioneering officers, Kenneth White and Donnell Cummings. They merged these groups of young men together who were the who's who for crime in New York City, as it was categorized to me, not by my saying, it's what they say, who, because basketball and the love of basketball brought them together, when I showed up to the commissioner's office and deputy commissioner at the time, Torres, sharing this idea of an encounter with heaven and the Father speaking, because I didn't have another story, they began to shepherd me through the protocol. And as I did, I ended up meeting with the commissioner. I went back to New York, or went to New York. Actually, let me say one thing I did that I was compelled to do. I got this word on a Saturday morning in Nashville. The next Saturday, with a meeting with my family in between, I took a one-way flight to New York City.
Wow.
And I didn't know when I was coming home, because I said, Father, you got to tell me if this is you or if this is my imagination. By that Wednesday, which was 12 days after I got the word, I was standing on Rikers Island, miraculously. 12 is the number of government. So I had these calls, go back for an official 2-day visit with some of the leadership, deputy commissioners, escort, detail, all this, seeing all of it. And by the time we finished, proverbially, they gave me the keys and said, "What do you want to do?" I had to go back to Nashville and reorient and reorganize my whole life because there's a lot going. I have a wife, I have 4 children, a ministry. I speak around the world. I mean, we're planting a church in Sweden. There's all kinds of stuff going on. But when something that wasn't my heart was revealed to me as the Father's heart,
Yes, sir.
it became my heart and life.
Yes, sir.
So we land here, Rikers Island, and the corrections officers. Now, these guys are tough. They put the basketball team together to be in the gym, but the warden said, "We want to use your guys." And they were like, "Hold on a minute now. Time." They're good with the basketball court. You want them to sit in the same room together?
Wow. Wow.
And the warden said, "Yes. This pastor's coming from Orlando, blah, 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 blah." I walk in, me and Art, the first day, and them cats was like, "Who are you and when are you leaving?"
Ooh.
And mind you, they're watching each other too, because they shouldn't be in the room together.
Wow. Wow.
World War III could have broke out on the streets if there was one incident. And it was intense. It was intense. People wouldn't even believe the intensity of every day having to navigate through with only one weapon, the Father's love.
Wow. Wow.
And I engaged them on this vision. Whatever you've been doing that. I'm looking for pioneers. The Father told me to come here. I'm going to be here. You can come back if you want. If you want to do something no one else is doing or other people have been afraid to do, live a different way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the culture here is going to be respect. Everyone gets it and gives it. Serve. Everyone gets it and gives it. Love. Looking out for what's best for the other person. That's our culture. If you want to sign up and get on this journey, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
It was a wild ride, but I ended up baptizing out of that first group. We had by the time we got down to the guys who were remaining, we started with like 15, 16. We ended up with like 12. I baptized 11 of them.
Wow.
Out of that first group. And in 3 years, I've baptized out of maybe 100 or so, over 80.
Wow.
And at the end of that year, the commissioner's report showed that in RNDC, the violence in that jail, and the violence was at an all-time high in 2022. It went down some 60% in that jail.
Wow. You know, Pastor Johnson, I know we're limited in time. We do have Mr. David Williams here. He is one of the persons who was there as well. And he's a part of the prison fellowship here. Pastor Sanford, his church, worked with persons who are ex-offenders. I wanted them to be in. Dr. Sharice is in studio. So I'm going to just give a few minutes to them. I don't know if it's fair for us to say our interview end. I mean, because I do think that these conversations are meant to provoke us a little bit further, to look at our common challenges and to see to what extent the gifts and the grace that God has placed within the body can reach even beyond our borders to just help mitigate and help understand. And so we do appreciate what you're doing there as well. Bishop Sanford and David Williams, you want to take a minute or two along with Dr. Sharice before Pastor Jay have to go to Rikers Island, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I ain't gonna be long. I'll say good morning to Dr. Sharice, morning Dr. Rolle, morning Pastor Johnson, morning Dr. Stanford. It was wonderful meeting with him. I was glad that we got the opportunity to meet with him, to network, to hear his story. And let's continue to encourage each other in what you're doing. And by God's grace, we'll see all of these persons who he has used us to lead into the kingdom. And that'll be a day of rejoicing. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you, Brother Dave. Bishop Rolle.
Thank you, Pastor Glen and Pastor Johnson for your yes. And I think there are many of us here in the Bahamas. My mind is so many places after this talk this morning. I don't know where to start, but let me at least begin by saying how appreciative I am for being able to share this platform this morning with Pastor Johnson. And I look forward to the day when we in the Bahamas can share some ideas around the table with him of how the Bahamas can somehow mirror some semblance of this that you speak about. Of course, there are many ideas that have been tossed around in the Bahamas. We've been at the table with the prison officials a number of times, talking about restorative justice and all of these kind of things, re-entry into society, and how the church can participate in that. I think that's one of my my burdens now is how can the church participate in these persons that have been sidelined, that have done the society wrong. Do we throw them away, or do we seek to reconcile, to restore, to rescue? And it begins with our fathers. That's another topic altogether. Just talking about fathers is a whole different topic altogether. But I am delighted to be a part of the conversation and look forward to further conversations, Pastor Glen, as Pastor Johnson, as you continue your work. We wish you all the best. And certainly, we hope to connect with you at some point very shortly, whether in New York or in the Bahamas, to see this thing through. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Bishop Dr. Sharice.
Thank you so much. And just a quick word on what Bishop is saying. I'm so sorry I didn't finish my thought about Africa. The connection was this. When I was in Africa, I saw where they locked up the fathers.
Mm.
And in America, they locked up the sons.
Mm.
But I believe through the son,
Wow.
Father is going to restore both.
Yes.
Yes.
On both continents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we see those shifting, but that's a whole different conversation as well. Dr. Sharice, before Pastor Jay give final thoughts, comments, any thought for this morning?
My thing about it is I'm sitting here and I am so pleased that God has chosen Pastor Tim and that he gave him that yes. I am so satisfied that someone has decided to execute that assignment. It's a powerful one. When I heard him say Rikers Island, I was like, right, who, what? Like you said, one of the most dangerous prisons in the world. If you would look up or study it or whatever, and this is where God has planted him. Listen, I can only offer you my prayers, my support, and everything else. We continue to pray and cover you. Take the reins and talk some more, sir. I'm done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pastor Johnson, you have your bag packed. You're getting ready to go. You have to leave to go over there now. What does it look like? Your final 5 minutes thoughts.
Well, I do believe that we're living potentially in the greatest generation to ever have feet on the planet.
Mm.
And the only reason I say that is because we live in the generation with the greatest crisis.
Yes, sir.
Of any generation on the planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I believe the Father does his best work on the canvas of darkness.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
And darkness of fatherlessness has an answer. And it's the outpouring of the Spirit on the church to know its place of being loved by the Father.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Not just forgiven for your sins and going to heaven and have new life and be prosperous.
Wow.
It's to know that you're loved by the Father. You sit at the table like a son, like a daughter. And I ask people, who are you sometimes? Even Christians say, oh, I'm a child of God. I say, you know you can be somebody's child and not feel loved.
Yes, sir.
That's not your identity. Your identity is you're loved.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm a son or a daughter.
Yes, sir.
When the church gets whole, we have a chance to break the curse of fatherlessness by being ambassadors of freedom to the nations,
Yes, sir.
inviting them to the king's table.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, Pastor Johnson, there may be persons behind the prison cells. So, you know, I know we talk a little bit about not only your coming here, but even wanted to see the facilities. And that's one of the reasons we invited David here, who is a part of that. But there may be persons who are hearing you. Can you just take a minute or two and speak to those persons behind the prison wall, behind the correction facilities?
Number one, the Father in heaven always looks at where you can go, regardless of where you've been. Most of us only live in the rearview mirror. He has a windshield. Your past is greater than your future. If you're willing to address, if you're willing to be honest about feeling like an orphan, you can only hide so long. If you know and feel the hole in your soul, acknowledge it. This is actually how I feel. Acknowledge that I needed a father. I needed somebody to tell me they love me, and that I've been crippled by fear. I've been crippled by sexual immorality. I've been crippled by pride, greed, anger, bitterness. If you're willing to let go of those who drop you and let go of the things that have crippled you, you will then be able to see the answer is in the healing Jesus has available to you.
Yes.
You have to be willing to come at the invitation of letting go of everything that has defined your life. He will rewrite the script. Even though you might be fatherless, Jesus and his blood and resurrection power will actually make you fatherless no more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Your book can be found on where Tim, I did get a copy of it. I think you're doing a movie as well.
Yeah, there's the book is fnmbook.com, fnmbook.com. There's an audio book on Amazon as well. And the movie has been made. It's been selected for film festivals. It won the Florida Film Festival, which is an Oscar qualifying film festival. And it chronicles in a rare access way. My daughter's an award-winning documentarian, and so she got to actually be with me for almost a year, filming places that I go, rare access. And it's a film that scratches the surface to tell the miracle story of Fatherless No More on Rikers Island.
And you're bringing a whole generation of sons along with it, you know.
That's my hope. That's my hope.
Thank you so much. You go to how long are you going to be to the Rutledge Island for?
I've been here all week. I leave tomorrow. Got here Sunday night, and we in July. So yes, 2 days. For 2 days, Good Morning America followed us around, and then yesterday I did an interview, and Good Morning America is going to air a special on what we do in July.
Okay. Well, all the best to you. I think 60% decline is undeniable, and I'm sure that's not the end of the story. You're going back for more results. We join you in that regard. But as Bishop Rolle said, that's not only true in New York or others. We believe the same God wants to dwell in the dark places here, even in our own nation, whether behind the desk or behind the correction facilities. Pastor Tim, thank you so much, sir. I hope we can engage you a little bit more at some point, but you know, Bishop Rolle has already put in motion that we can be around the table somehow.
You already know how to find me. You got me here, so you know how to find me. Appreciate
Well, Dr. Sharice already did it by talking about God lives here in the Bahamas and trying to provoke you and other stuff like that. So it's done.
You know how to find me. Like I said,
Yes,
this message belongs to the world. It's
yes, sir.
not
Yes,
ours to keep.
Yes, sir. And we really, really appreciate you making yourself available. You did it with ease, and we thank you for it. And here being on this platform is a manifestation of your humility and your grace. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you all. Love you all.
Please give Alice regard for us and all the best. Thank you much.
You too. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Inspiration 107.9 FM, yours truly, Ambassador Glen P. Rolle. Thank you so much, Bishop Sanford, my brother David. Thank you so much for joining us here on this platform. Pastor Tim, World Outreach Orlando Church, and of course, he is now ministering to those within the prison cells. Have a great day, everybody. A great weekend, I should say, and God bless.